All right. I'm going to take this one, Dave, because this is totally my idea. And again, it's one of those things that has served me very well in life. It's the revenue stack concept that
I see you couching already. You haven't even read.
Sure. You're answering. I'm going to read it.
You're responding before we've even let her speak.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So Shauna writes in, and she has some good stuff to say, but the crux of it is, Shauna writes, I enjoy your podcast, but I think you guys are wrong about the multiple revenue idea, which I call revenue stack. In my experience, if you don't focus on one thing and become really good at it, you risk doing a bunch of things not very well.
Oh, man. So
yeah,
I've had this thought many times throughout my career. Now, my career has been that of what you call revenue stacks. That's certainly your term. I never started calling it that until we started doing things together. But I had been doing it all the way through. And I thought of them as faucets. I like to have lots of faucets going, and they all don't need to flow at the same rate, right? And the one that I've got my hand on, that's going to flow better generally than the one that I don't, although there have been cases where it's been exactly the opposite. I've screwed something up. But by and large, the one that you pay attention to does a little better. The ones, if there's multiples that you can pay attention to simultaneously. And then the others are just there kind of, trickling along. But they are, to me, opportunities. And they're the safety net. And that way, if something does happen outside of my control or even within my control that causes one to just stop immediately, I'm not left without a revenue stream. And so I've done this, but I've had this thought that Shauna shared many times. Like, what would things be like for me? And would I be better off if I got rid of everything and just picked one and went all in on it? And I don't know the answer to that question because I've never let myself do that. But we talk about don't make fear-based decisions. It's entirely possible that this whole revenue stack idea is the biggest fear-based decision I continue to make.
Oh, I don't think so.
I know you don't.
No way.
But it might be. You don't know. Well, that's what I'm saying is you don't know.
Yeah. I get your point, Shauna. And I think it's all about timing. Okay, so let me answer this or defend it. If you start a business and you're just getting it going and then some other shiny object, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to be, okay, and then I'm going to, if you spread yourself too thin and you don't stick to it or you shift into something else right when your main thing starts to get hard, you're going to have a bad time and you may fail across multiple revenue stacks or faucets or streams or whatever you want to call them. But my concept, to expand on it a little bit, is that once you've created a business that's generating revenue and it doesn't need all of your attention anymore. Now, when that is up to you, and you may have to experiment with it. And maybe it's the 80% rule that we've talked about on the show, that when you can delegate to someone else that can do at least an 80% of the work or as good as you do, it could be that time. And so that's what I mean, is that you've gotten things going, everything's okay, great. And looking back, which is much easier than looking forward, I know that when I start to get bored, when I'm through with the new thing and the startup and we're doing the daily motion and the system is working and I've hired managers and supervisors and this, and okay, great, that's doing well. Then I have more time on my hands and I start thinking about what's next for me. And then I would start putting my oar in the water a little bit to see how could we start. Then I reached out to a guy like Dave Hamilton and said, hey, we should start a business, an information business. This was, 20 years ago. And he's like, yeah, maybe, what is it? And then we start playing around with it. And over time, you develop another business that, ran for a decade and generated a ton of cash for us. And so that's the important part.